But sometimes when we ask our peers, they're like, you guys, you gotta go, you gotta like make it huge. Like they're the ones that want us to blow it out.
They're like, fine.
Oh no, not like that.
Fine, we'll sell out.
Hi, I'm Rianne Daly. I'm joined by Ross and Rookie Lynch from the Driver Era for the latest in Enemies in Conversation series. Hey guys, how's it going?
It's going well.
Yeah.
Good. You guys are out in LA. How's it out there at the moment?
It's smoky, to be honest. I mean, it's not as smoky as a couple days ago.
It's getting a lot better. A lot better. We were like staying inside for a few days, like seriously avoiding going outside just because it's not fun to breathe in all that smoke, but it's getting better.
I guess this year has like just been relentless. You guys have like the fires and also COVID to deal with as well. And I guess as a band as well, you can't do half of your job, which is touring. But you've been keeping pretty busy recently with like putting out songs on like an almost monthly basis and making like self-made videos and stuff. How important has it been for you to be able to keep working over the last few months?
It's kind of come in waves. Like we honestly, the most important thing that's been going on for us recently is just kind of figuring out ourselves more and like the emphasis in our lives hasn't really been on work recently, I don't think. Although we've been like decently productive.
And I think he would agree as well, as the work and the creativity and all that stuff, that just happens. That's natural. When everything else is kind of how you want it to be and everything else is smooth sailing, then the work and music and all that, you're like, oh, yo, this is sick. Yo, this is a tight idea. And it just kind of goes.
Yeah.
But
well, you almost can't help it. Like when all the other areas of your life are satisfied, like your inner being,
it's kind of
it wants to create.
Yeah.
You know?
So I do kind of think like you said, everything that's going on, you know, it kind of has made the workflow ebb and flow like anything else. But right now it feels pretty good. Like I said, we redid the studio a little just to kind of get like some clean energy.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, ever since we redid the studio, I can't believe we didn't do this when we first moved in. It's because it didn't look this nice.
Well, I was when we first moved in, on the real, it was pretty good.
It was pretty good.
There's certain couch movements we did, but what happened was
it's a lot better now, though.
We moved in, we did a solid studio setup. We made our own sound panels, put rugs in everywhere, and like 4 months in, it was like raining for like a week straight. We're like, oh, this is dope. I don't even think you were here at the time.
No, I think, and no, I was here. I was helping.
Okay. It was next time around.
Yeah.
But it just started flooding everywhere, and it kind of like our rugs definitely got moldy. It kind of just made us slowly. The studio just turned to kind of trash.
So outside of music in the last few months, how have you been spending your time? Have you kind of picked up any new hobbies or interests?
We play a lot of hockey.
Yeah,
we really like ice hockey.
We like ice hockey,
especially when the playoffs just happened. So whenever that happens, like you just end up being more into it because you're watching it and playing it.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of that. We do a fair bit of reading.
Mm-hmm. Been doing a little fantasy football recently.
Yeah. Honestly, a lot of sports.
Would you say sports is your main escape right now then?
Probably, but like not. We probably would never say that again in our lives. Right now, because of quarantine and COVID and whatnot. Yeah.
So the songs that you've been releasing over the last few months, they're kind of leading up to your second album, which I think you talked before about it kind of coming out late summer, which obviously has changed. What is happening with the album?
I personally think it'd be sick to just put out sometime, maybe next summer would be like ideal 15 to 20 song album.
Yeah.
Just straight up. Just like,
well,
fold it all.
Like full transparency, we're kind of fed up with all the non-musicians releasing singles in the world.
What do you mean by non-musicians?
Just like all the personalities that like randomly will just be like, hey, check out my single. And that to us, because we're so because we are musicians, we're like, what the heck? Like so we wanna do a large release of like we just want to like make a whole bunch of music, just like to kind of go against that trend, if you will.
We kind of like
we like the rap.
Yeah,
we like rappers.
We mess around with it, but rappers are actually really good at that because they get in the studio and they're just like, yo, it's all dope, and they're just flowing, they're just doing it all, and they're like, they put out like 20-song albums every year, and you're like, what the hell are they like? I mean, they're sipping a lot of lean, that helps, but
We're not doing that, but we drink a lot of coffee.
yeah, like,
That will also help.
but yeah, that honestly would be like,
Yeah, like
in a perfect world, 15, 20-song album next summer.
Matty
Maybe
Healy in the
before that.
1975 put it nicely once, where he talked about how it's I forget how he said it, but seamless creation almost.
Yeah,
Like you create it and it just goes.
You're not interrupting the creation with some form of like negative thought. Is like how I would
or judgment.
put it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's like I strummed this chord and said this lyric that happened to do with my life. Why should you?
Why is that good or bad?
Yeah, why should you try and go too ham on it? Unless you're like, oh, okay, unless you're trying to make a huge pop song and spend whatever months on it. But like, what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're trying to be rich. Like, literally,
but even then, you have to play a super political game.
yeah, then you got to convince 30 people of your team
Yeah.
members that this is a hit.
Like I literally was just on Spotify the other day. And I couldn't believe that The Weeknd was the #1 artist.
That's pretty crazy.
It's like great for him. Like yo, congrats.
It's
bro.
that-
like that's sick.
That song did pretty
You just
good.
think it would be like Drake or like
yeah.
I'm just saying like good for you. That's awesome. But it was surprising.
To be the #1 artist, that's like really surprised.
Yeah.
Like maybe even like maybe I could have seen
I could
Taylor
see
Swift
Kodak.
up there.
Or
Like her new album
Taylor
like did
Swift,
pretty
yeah.
good.
Cardi
Pretty
B's been
single.
killing it.
Cardi
though.
B,
Like,
sure.
I was just surprised.
The Baby.
Yeah.
Maybe another rapper.
Yeah.
The songs that you have been putting out so far, then do you think they won't be on the album next year?
I think maybe no.
Mm.
There's always a possibility.
I wouldn't be surprised if, which this was kind of like we still haven't figured out how to actually do like the waterfall Spotify thing. Like we're always like, yes, no, we should do something like that with the songs that we've been putting out the last couple of months. But I would imagine we're kind of putting out these songs like we're doing.
Well, the
And
funny
by
thing
the
is,
time-
like the waterfall thing is like everybody wants to like figure out the best way to release songs because they want to like help all the other songs out. And I think that's all fine. And I think it does work to some extent. But at the end of the day, it depends on the song. And if that song people want to hear.
Yeah. I would imagine we end up putting every song that we've been putting out the last couple of months as like when they're like singles or like 2 pieces or whatever. Those are all just going to arrive on one thing. And we're going to be like, yo, this was like us making music over the last 9 months. And it's going to be like an album. And then directly after that, like a month, I bet there's an actual album.
Mm.
Because we might as well classify those as like one thing.
Yeah.
Like why not?
I
I bet we do.
You know who did that? That was really sick?
Who?
Ariana Grande.
Oh, she put out an album right
Yeah.
after. I remember
That was cool. I liked that.
So you have a new song coming out on Friday, which will be out by the time this interview is up. It's called Fade. When did you write that, and what is that song about?
That song's actually a few years old, which is funny. But it took some time for people to believe in it, which it kind of goes back to kind of what we're saying now about just like going.
I also wonder,
the
like,
song is kind of like,
I wonder if other people believing in it is also directly related to our belief in it. Like if we would have displayed the song better, it's tough because at that point we were signed to Hollywood Records.
but I'm really happy the song is coming out, and I'm happy that we found the people that do believe in it and want to support it. That feels really good.
What is it about?
It's all about the inevitability of fading away.
We were predicting coronavirus 2 years ago. That's what it was.
It's all about just making the most of every moment.
Actually, that song is very much so exactly how we were just talking about how songs should be written. That was one continuous process of never necessarily like a second guess while making it. It was just like, this is nice. I like this. I like that. Boom, boom, boom. We're just kind of going, and the song was finished the night that we started it. And then like whatever we did some more things to it. just like a couple weeks ago. But essentially the writing part of it was a seamless thing, and was just like, all right, cool.
I wanted to talk to you about the song Places as well, which, Rocky, I think you said that you wrote that about a current relationship when you usually write about past relationships or past experiences. I think artists often talk about how songwriting helps them like process things that have happened to them in the past. So I was wondering what the role of songwriting is when you're writing about something that's still ongoing.
Even on some songs in the past that like, let's say I had written, and then by the time it came out, you know, the relationship or whatever that thing was is kind of in the past. In this scenario, or in those scenarios, I was still writing about those things kind of while they're happening. Like it's I don't really do much of, oh, let me write about this thing that was 6 months ago and try and like feel that or whatever that is. It's very much so, no, I'm going home that night from whatever's happening, or waking up the next morning with whatever's happening in my life right then and there, and I'm like, oh, okay, here's something. This feels nice, and it's going. And that song just happened to come out at this time before, you know, anything went south. Essentially, that's good.
I was reading that you often go for a drive to kind of listen to songs and see if they're finished. What is it about being in the car and being on the road that helps you tell if something's done?
It's kind of the speakers. The speakers in a car are pretty generic, and you can get a sense of what the song will sound like on like most speakers, essentially. So we go there to test like different like the bass levels or the vocal levels and things as such. But it's also really nice to get some fresh air and just to drive around and free your mind.
Yeah, like the final like mixing process happens a lot where you like kind of check it in the car and headphones, because that's like the probably two prime car headphones and a Bluetooth speaker. Honestly, those are the three listening situations for the world. We'll probably do a lot more of that too on these next tracks, because we write and produce everything, and then we would like be like 60 to 70% of the mix. And now we're just going to mix everything too, so there'll probably be a lot more of that, which will be really good. Way more.
Yeah.
The low one will probably be absurd on some of these tracks. I want somebody to question our mixing preference with low end.
I agree.
I want someone to DM me like, bro, dude, your low end's too loud in that mix. I'll be like, thank you.
Yeah, we want to blow raps out of the water.
Yeah. I want some rappers saying, hey, we want the mix to sound like these guys. Let's go.
Well, also, we're just going to start rapping. Like,
yeah, that's true, actually.
Exciting. Would you say that rappers are kind of more inspiring to you than traditional kind of guitar bands right now?
I think it's definitely pop right now, because pop is, popular. So I think rap is definitely like the pop genre.
It's weird because I think rap, I wouldn't say like what they're saying or like the style of productions now are at all an influence, but rap as a genre for sure has been a heavy influence when it comes to like productions from 2 years ago to like 2001. Like that's definitely big influence on us. But yeah, nowadays it's like, all right, cool. Like we'll bump some Drake to just be like, cool, Drake's putting together his thing. He's got a solid team, whatever he's running.
I feel like our influence is anything classic. Like I love classic things. Like it can be anything. It could be like Kings of Leon.
Sure.
Could be Elvis. It could be so many different things that'll inspire us.
Sure.
And I like
Ariana Grande. It could even be
Ariana Grande for sure.
Thank You Next.
I really like keeping it eclectic and really trying to like just expand our portfolio into as many different areas as we can.
Yeah, I guess I've seen you people describe you as genreless, which is that something that you're kind of aiming for?
I think we just don't like one consistent genre, and so that just happened now.
Yeah, like we like to make music how we listen to music, or how almost everyone listens to music nowadays, which is just like if it's good, we like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, as opposed to, I think like in the past there was the whole kind of like tribalism thing of like you only listen to one genre and you could only like one genre, whereas that feels like very old-fashioned now.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Yeah, because like if you go on any playlist, it's like you're gonna get a rap song, and then you're probably gonna get like some rock song, and then like some R&B song.
It is literally like the because of streaming, it's the way people listen to music now. Like I think on the Pollen playlist, which I don't know, do you know the Pollen playlist on Spotify?
Yeah.
Okay, it's like it probably dictates a lot of people's listening experience, but I think their like tag is like quality first, genre second, or something like that, where it's like, and they're that's a playlist where they got rap, they got indie, they got whatever is vibing.
It just makes so much more sense to like play the song that fits your mood.
So you guys keep it in the family a lot in your creative work. Obviously, your brothers, you were in a band before with your other siblings in R5. You work with your brother Ryland on videos. You work with your cousin Gordy on videos. What are the pros and cons of working with your relatives on creative stuff?
I think the biggest pro is giving someone the opportunity. For instance, Gordy could go to film school, or he could come like do some music videos with us where we have, maybe an Alexa Mini, which is like the best digital camera that you would use for, they even use that on films. So he's getting that like hands-on experience with that camera in a real life scenario, and he's like getting the opportunity to work. Like I really like that we had Rocky's girlfriend be the girl in the music video. One, because she's an aspiring actress, and hopefully someone could see her in that video and be like, oh my gosh, that's the girl that we need for this other project or whatever,
Yeah, it also kind of happens naturally because we live with Ryland.
Mm-hmm.
And then also we see other family members often. So it's like our hanging out and we're like, cool, it's like talk video idea, whatever. It kind of is just like, why fix what ain't broken?
We probably will branch out a little bit more. Like we probably should, just because it's good to, I love to collaborate. I think it's good to collaborate, get new, fresh opinions and perspectives. But I think the cons of the cons of working with family and friends is not all the time, but sometimes you have to be careful about the work environment because you want it to be as professional as possible so you can get the most done and you can be an effective group. And for the most part, we are probably more effective than a professional atmosphere most of the time because we're all doing every job. Yeah, no one really has like a union or anything, so they can't be like, oh, I'm not moving that light because that's not my tag or whatever, which happens on film sets, But yeah, you just have to watch that a little bit, but that's probably the only con.
You've spoken about kind of this idea of there being a third consciousness between the two of you. Can you explain that a bit?
Yeah, that's a concept from this book called Think and Grow Rich, which basically is just that. It's like if you work with someone enough, then you can develop somewhat of a shared consciousness. It's just an idea of cooperation.
I mean,
essentially,
I think the songs are the shared consciousness. That's like really what it is.
Yeah,
it's like if one song has legit him and I are the only people that worked on it, it's like cool. That's like a spawn of us two coming together and making something. So therefore, yeah, we kind of share that thing.
Well, it's funny. You can feel it. You can feel it if Rocky is the only maker of the song. I can feel it.
Sure.
Yeah. And if we both make a song, it has us in it. Like I know that sounds kind of funny, but or same if like I just write a song on the acoustic guitar, or if I produce a song up or whatever, you can just kind of tell.
You've been working on music together for a really long time now. Do you ever see yourselves doing stuff independent of each other, or do you want to keep collaborating together for at least the foreseeable future?
Well, Rocky's done things without me. He's done like a bunch of stuff with this artist coming up called Sage, which is pretty sweet. And he's produced songs with other people. When I was in Vancouver, especially, like Rocky did a lot of other work. It'd probably be a good thing if like we branched out a little bit.
If I was somebody that was like, I'm like a workaholic and I'm just trying to be all day, every day, like just studio hopping, session hopping, I could fill my week up with that right now if I really wanted to. But I don't. I only need so much time making music and so much time doing this kind of thing. And so, yeah, like Ross said, it's like for the foreseeable future, probably the only music I care to create is somehow Driver era related. Who knows where that gets down the road? But
Yeah,
I like doing studios shit, and then like, cool.
So
I got the rest of the world. Yeah, like, you know. And I like those breaks. Those breaks benefit me a lot because then I get back in the studio and I hit a chord and I'm like, oh, that feels nice. Rather than like, damn, I've been hitting this freaking same C chord for all freaking week with these artists that someone set me up with that I don't want to work with. It's like, what? So I just like, for me, I'm like, I'm set.
there's like a real songwriting grind that happens with people sometimes where they're just like bouncing from session to session to session.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound very fun.
In Nashville, it's like some dudes are doing like 3 sessions a day. And you're like, what kind of drugs are you on, bro? Like, seriously. Holy
you just end up reciprocating
that.
You just end up reciprocating what you're making though. Like I've heard songwriters say the same line like a bunch of times because that's just like their go-to line. So I think it just comes down to intention then. It's just like, what do we really want out of it?
Yeah.
For some people that's like they want to be the biggest star in the world.
Yeah, which, like, you know,
I think we'd like to have some pretty prominent songs, like,
I think,
for sure.
I was thinking about this with actors, actually. I was like, and I think this might somewhat relate to majority professions, also including musicians and artists and whatnot. But there is somehow, like, if you're an actor and you're, like, making a shit ton of movies, but, like, nobody's saying, hey, you're a decent actor and nobody's watching these movies, somehow, like, there's probably a slight, after a certain point, a slight feeling of, like, you didn't do it, almost. And so I do think the end result of the Driver era is, like, okay, cool, yeah, we popped off, we had a couple of hits, we made music for 30 plus years and we toured the world 10 times. Sick. Like, that's probably the end goal. But we really do it because we like making music.
But sometimes when we ask our peers, they're like, you guys, you gotta go, you gotta like make it huge. Like they're the ones that want us to like to blow it out.
They're like, fine.
Well, no, not like that.
Fine, we'll sell out.
But we have people in our lives that are really encouraging us to really push it.
Which actually that goes a long way. You need all your homies to be like, yo, I love y'all stuff. Like,
If your homies aren't doing that, you need to find new friends.
yeah.
How would you feel if you did suddenly get really big?
I think it would feel good.
I think you go right to our head.
Yeah, Rocky's a big just maniac, as you can see. How like
It's weird because we
won't feel different.
We already made it. Essentially, we already made it. We're already.
Well, he says that because
Yeah.
because we get to do what we love to do when we want to do it, and it sustains our life.
Yeah.
So that's like which is true,
Straight up.
and we feel really grateful for that reality, and that's why we're just like, cool, let's just keep going.
Yeah, it's now it's which we always do this. We do sport references, but now it's like, all right, cool. Do we want to like win the Stanley Cup now? Like we've been like solid team, made it to the playoffs a bunch. Do we want to win the cup? Maybe.
Yeah.
What do you anticipate touring being like post-COVID?
I think people will be ready to throw down. I
Yeah,
think that's what.
definitely.
I think it'll be pretty chill, even if it's at a point where like their shows are happening and like a lot of the crowd is wearing a mask and whatnot. It's like people are kind of used to just be like, oh, let me throw a mask on and go out and do it. Like,
Yeah.
so
The difference
I think
is
it'll be exciting.
with our shows though, almost every show that we ever have is a mosh pit full of people
Yeah.
that are sweating on each other and they're dancing on each other.
Yeah. Wait, we're trying to sell tickets here, bro. Actually, that is,
No, that's what I'm saying.
that's
Like,
our ad right
The
there.
people that come to our shows are like, they're trying to have a good time. So
I think they will have a good time.
yeah, I just hope that it's not like there's like some restriction that's like you gotta stay. Like at that point, we'll just wait to tour.
I was gonna say like I would think we would veto that. We'd be like, all right, cool, postpone the tour.
Yeah,
Whatever. Yeah.
because we just want people to have the time of their lives,
Ross, I wanted to ask you quickly about your acting as well. You've been making a name for yourself as an actor, most recently in Netflix's Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which was cancelled in July. What was the experience of working on that show like for you?
It's gonna be one of those things in my life that I'll look back on with like such nostalgia and just like happy feelings, because it really was a wonderful experience from top to bottom. I learned so much while I was out there the whole time. I had so many interesting relationships and ups and downs and ebbs and flows and just wonderful times. That city, Vancouver's an amazing city. I loved living in that city, right on the water, and they've got beautiful nature and the mountains. But working on the show was so great too. Everybody in the cast and the crew was fantastic. Roberto, our creator, was so just amazing, and everybody showed up to make a great show, and we were all just happy to be there. But yeah, I definitely miss it. It'll definitely be just, it's like one of those things in my life that I'll always look back on with joy.
When does the final season come out?
I think the final season, maybe October, something like that. I'm not really sure.
But
What's funny is actually we probably would have had 10 more episodes had COVID not happened.
Are you signed on to any new TV or film projects at the moment, or are you kind of looking for any particular roles?
I get emails every once in a while from my agent with possible auditions and what have you. Nothing has really gotten my attention over music. If something comes along that's really interesting and it's a role that I feel like is mine, because that's part of the thing in acting too, is I'll get all these auditions and I'm like, they don't want me, they don't want me, they don't want me. So as I'm getting older and I'm learning more about that industry, I'm realizing when the role is mine or not, or when it's worth fighting for, essentially. Like, because a lot of the times, like, they're just not looking for me. Like, if they're looking for like a nerdy kid, they're probably gonna go a little bit nerdier. If they're looking for a jock, they're probably gonna go a little bit
Jockier.
buffer. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, when the right role comes around, I'll definitely do it. But right now, my most of my focus is going towards music.
So what do you think we can expect from the Driver era over the next few months?
I have no idea.
Probably,
Hopefully some more music.
yeah, in like the easiest, like, this is probably like a couple tracks and a couple videos.
Yeah. And then hopefully, like you said, like an album.
Next summer.
That'd be a good time for sure.
I would think yes. I would think, because like it's I don't know when those exact dates were for Europe and whatnot, but I think it's like summerish. But it'd be sick if we were like, cool, we're about to like stick it to the man and tour and do that whole thing. It'd be sick if it was like, all right, cool, there's like a 15-track album right before we went on tour.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, exciting. Can't wait to hear new music from you guys. Thank you so much for speaking to me today.
Yeah. Of course. All right.
Enjoy the rest of your days.
Will do. Enjoy the rest of your night.